Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Comic Book Nostalgia. I'm CB Nostalgia, and I thought we'd talk some about Spider-Man No Way Home, the more fun stuff version. Well, as many of you know, this past weekend we got a new version of Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, this version of the film, the more fun stuff version, has a bunch of scenes and extended scenes that we didn't see in the original take of the movie, and it does give fans a little bit of extras, plus it closes a major plot hole. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about the individual scenes, how well they worked, and what I thought of this version of the movie. Kind of a mini review mixed with a breakdown. There are some spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you click away and then come back. We never want to ruin your movie experience, and there is some stuff here you might not know. Now, first and foremost, there is a lot of little bits of extended scenes. Scenes that include one or two more shots and aren't really additional scenes, just a slightly longer or more inclusive take on the original scene that made it into the movie. This doesn't mean there's not a lot of new scenes, there are, and most of them worked, but I did like the little bits of extended scenes that gave a little more context to what was going on. Now, as far as new scenes go, you may have seen some of them leak over the last couple of days, but I'm going to go ahead and break them down. First and foremost, there is the thief scene that involves Tom Holland's brother. We saw this scene earlier in some of the preview material, but it totally involves Tom Holland's brother stealing a purse and being captured by Spider-Man. After that, the people surrounding him on New York City begin to debate with Peter whether he should be Spider-Man or not. This is actually the scene where someone throws green paint on Spider-Man, and quite honestly fit pretty well into the movie and was probably one they originally should have left in. You can't really say that about all the scenes. Now, there was a bit of an extended scene that got a lot of extra footage in the Omnicroft. Down in Doctor Strange's basement, Ned and the team are setting up their base for the Men in the Chair. And quite honestly, Ned goes about absolutely demolishing the various areas of Doctor Strange's basement. Every time he touches something, he breaks it. And it does serve for some comedic effect, and probably is another one of those little scenes that should have been left in the movie. There were a couple of Easter eggs here popping up here and there, but overall, just there for comedic relief. Another scene that took place early in the film was at the school when Peter returns. And although the school had a lot of the extended scenes, there was a brand new scene in the gym. Peter is in gym class and the gym teacher and everybody in the gym is chanting "climb," encouraging Peter to climb the wall like Spider-Man. Peter is mortified and he totally feels like a dancing monkey, but does the routine for all the people around him anyway. It was a pretty mortifying scene for Peter, and it did show how bad his life got after the reveal, but I don't know if it was necessary to the film. Now, there's one scene to me that totally didn't work, and that's the interview scenes with Betty Brant. As we start to wrap up the time at Peter's school, there's sort of a montage scene with a lot of the main characters being interviewed about Peter. Now, this is kind of presented in a way that's sort of cheap looking, but that's because it's supposed to be a high school TV station. Overall, I thought that particular scene totally slowed down the movie, and it didn't really work very well for me, but I think some people might find it funny, but I'm glad this particular scene was cut. Now, one of the scenes many people were anticipating was more of Matt Murdock, and we did get more of Matt in this movie. There is an entire extra scene with Happy Hogan, and this involves Happy talking to Damage Control and Matt serving as his lawyer. I guess Happy did get a really good lawyer. Now, the scene does have a nice little joke in it, because Matt tells Happy to stop sweating, but nobody in the room seems to pick up how a blind guy knows somebody is sweating, and it totally made me laugh. And again, this is a scene I think should have stayed in the movie. Now, there is one specific scene that was very extended, and that is when the Peters start to talk to each other on top of the Statue of Liberty. We got a lot of nice banter during this scene originally, especially making fun of Tobey Maguire's web fluid, but overall this gave a little more context to what was going on, and I think this is one of those scenes that probably would have worked pretty good in the original movie. Like the Avengers party scene, I think many fans could probably have sat and just watched the Peters talk for hours. Now, the last big thing I noticed added to this film was that new post-credit scene. And again, we go back to Betty Brant. This scene involves multiple shots over the 3 movies involving all the high school students. You see them in Europe, you see them at the science fair, you see them in DC. But one thing you don't see is Peter in any of the pictures. Now, this closes a major plot hole that people were talking about when everybody forgot Peter. Many people were wondering about the documentation and pictures of Peter Parker and who people would think that is. This totally fills that plot hole, and now it appears even documented evidence of Peter has disappeared, and this is actually the reason you see him getting his GED at the end. Now, overall, I liked No Way Home, and I thought it was a pretty good time. Most of these scenes were pretty good and enjoyable, but quite honestly, it does feel like a bit of a cash grab since all of these were supposed to be on the Blu-ray. I do hope Sony breaks that $2 billion mark. I know that's why they're doing this, but as a fan, if you're kind of short on money, I don't know that I can totally recommend you spend money to see this again, especially if you already own the Blu-ray, and I'm sure these scenes are going to come to other media very soon. Now, the future of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, as well as the rest of these Spider-Men, is still up in the air, so if you're a Spider-Man fan, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of the Spider-Man updates. We're going to cover it pretty closely, and I know you don't want to miss anything. But until we know more, what do you guys think? Do any of these cut or extended scenes sound pretty interesting to you? And do you feel like this was a cash grab on the part of Sony Studios? Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you hit like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.